Good morning everyone. Basa na ng Bible guys. Deuteronomy 23, 24 and 25 and Mark 14, 1 to 26. Basa. Exclusion from the assembly. No one has been emasculated by crushing or cutting may enter the assembly of the Lord. No one born of a forbidden marriage, nor any of his descendants may enter the assembly of the Lord, even down to the 10th generation. No Ammonite or Moabite or any of his descendants may enter the assembly of the Lord, even down to the 10th generation, for they did not come to meet you with bread and water on your way when you came out of Egypt. And they hired Balaam, son of Beor, from Petor in Aram Naharaim, to pronounce a curse on you. However, the Lord your God would not listen to Balaam, but turned the curse into a blessing for you, because the Lord your God loves you. Do not seek a treaty of friendship with him as long as you live. Do not abhor an Edomite, for he is your brother. Do not abhor an Egyptian, because you live as an alien in his country. The third generation of children born to them may enter the assembly of the Lord. Uncleanness in the camp. When you are in camp against the enemies, keep away from everything impure. If one of your men is unclean because of a nocturnal emission, he is to go outside the camp and stay there. But as evening approaches, he is to wash himself, and at sunset he may return to the camp. Designate a place. Designate a place outside the camp where you can go to relieve yourself as part of your equipment. Have something to dig with, and when you relieve yourself, dig a hole and cover up your excrement. For the Lord your God moves about in your camp to protect you and to deliver your enemies to you. Your camp must be holy, so that he will not see among you anything indecent and turn away from you. Miscellaneous laws. Bakit ba kasi sila may enemies? Miscellaneous laws. If a slave has taken refuge with you, do not hand him over to his master. Let him live among you wherever he likes, and in whatever town he chooses. Do not oppress him. No Israelite, man or woman, is to become a shrine prostitute. You must not bring the earnings of a female prostitute or of a male prostitute into the house of the Lord your God to pay any vow, because the Lord your God detests them both. Do not charge your brother interest, whether or money or food or anything else that may earn interest. You may charge a foreigner interest, but not a brother Israelite, so that the Lord your God may bless you in everything you put your hand to in the land you are entering to possess. If you make a vow to the Lord your God, do not be slow to pay it, for the Lord your God will certainly demand it of you, and you will be guilty of sin. But if you refrain from making a vow, you will not be guilty. Whatever your lips utter, you must be sure to do, because you made your vow freely to the Lord your God with your own mouth. If you enter your neighbor's vineyard, you may eat all the grapes you want, but do not put any in your basket. If you enter your neighbor's green field, you may pick kernels with your hands, but you must not put a sickle to his standing grain. Chapter 24, guys. If a man marries a woman who becomes displeasing to him because he finds something indecent about her, and he writes her a certificate of divorce, gives it to her and sends her from his house, and if after she leaves his house, she becomes the wife of another man, and her second husband dislikes her and writes her a certificate of divorce, gives it to her and sends her from his house, or if he dies, then her first husband, who divorced her, is not allowed to marry her again after she has been defiled. Di ko magets. Di ko maintindihan guys yung certificate verse gives her sins from his. Or if he dies, then her first husband, who divorced her, is not allowed to marry her again after she was been defiled. That would be detestable in the eyes of the Lord. Do not bring sin upon the land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance. Hindi ko maintindihan yun. Hayaan mo na. If a man has recently married, he must not be sent to war or have any other duties laid on him for 1 year. He is to be free to stay at home and bring happiness to the wife he has married. Do not take a pair of millstones, not even the upper one, as security for a debt, because that would be taking a man's livelihood as security. If a man is caught kidnapping one of his brother Israelites and treats him as a slave or sells him, the kidnapper must die. Ayun, ang kaparusahan ng kidnapping guys is kamatayan. You must purge the evil from among you. In cases of leprous diseases, be very careful to do exactly as the priests who are Levites instruct you. You must follow carefully what I have commanded them. Remember what the Lord your God did to Miriam along the way after you came out of Egypt. The Lord your God did to Miriam along the way after you came out of Egypt. Inulit ko. When you make a loan of any kind of your neighbor, kayo magbasa guys kasi mali-mali na yung basa ng mata ko. When you make a loan of any kind to your neighbor, do not go into his house to get what he is offering as a pledge. Stay outside and let the man to whom you are making the loan bring the pledge out to you. If the man is poor, do not go to sleep with his plates in your possession. Return his cloak to him by sunset, so that he may sleep in it. Then he will thank you, and it will be regarded as a righteous act in the sight of the Lord your God. Do not take advantage of a hired man who is poor and needy, whether he is a brother, Israelite, or an alien living in one of your towns. Pay him his wages each day before sunset, because he is poor and is counting on it. Otherwise he will cry to the Lord against you, and you will be guilty of sin. Fathers shall not be put to death. Fathers shall not be put to death for their children, nor children put to death for their fathers. Each is to die for his own sin. Do not deprive the alien or the fatherless of justice, or take the cloak of the widow as a pledge. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you from there. That is why I command you to do this. When you are harvesting in your field, and you overlook a sheep, do not go back to get it. Leave it for the alien, the fatherless, and the widow, so the Lord your God may bless you in all the work of your hands. When you meet the olives from your trees, do not go over the branches a second time. Leave that remains for the alien, the fatherless, and the widow. When you harvest the grapes in your vineyard, do not go over the vines again. Leave that remains for the alien, the fatherless, and the widow. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt. That is why I command you to do this. When men have a dispute, Asa chapter 25 na guys. When men have a dispute, they are to take it to court, and the judges will decide the case, acquitting the innocent and condemning the guilty. If the guilty man deserves to be beaten, the judge shall make him lie down and have him flogged in his presence with the number of lashes his crime deserves, but he must not give him more than 40 lashes. If he is flogged more than that, your brother will be degraded in your eyes. Do not muzzle an ox while it is treading out the grain. If brothers are living together and one of them dies without a son, his widow must not marry outside the family. Her husband's brother, ito yung sinasabi ko guys sa inyo na pag namatay yung asawa, yung kapatid ang sasalo sa widow. Her husband's brother shall take her and marry her and fulfill the duty of a brother-in-law to her. Paano pag pare-pareho na pala silang may mga asawa guys? Sinong sasalo doon sa widow? The person shall carry on the name of the dead brother, so that his name will not be blotted out from Israel. Hindi, ang ibig ko sabihin ba, paano kung yung magkakapatid ipare-pareho ng may asawa, tapos na widow yung isa? Sasaluhin pa rin ba ng kapatid? Kasi her husband brother shall take her and marry her and fulfill the duty of a brother-in-law to her. The person shall carry on the name of the dead brother, so that his name will not be blotted out from Israel. Reaction ko lang yun guys. Pero yun nakasulat dito. Pag nawido yung asawa, sasaluhin ng kapatid para yung duty ng brother-in-law niya. However, if a man does not want to marry his brother's wife, ito pala sa 7, merong condition. However, if a man does not want to marry his brother's wife, she shall go to the elders at the town gate and say, my husband's brother refused to carry on his brother's name in Israel. He will not fulfill the duty of a brother-in-law to me. Then the elders of his town shall summon him and talk to him. If he persists in saying, I do not want to marry her, his brother's widow shall go up to him, in the presence of the elders, take off one of his sandals, spit in his face, and say, Hala. This is what is done to the man who will not build up his brother's family line. The man's line shall be known in Israel as the family of the unsandaled. If two men are fighting and the wife of one of them comes to rescue her husband from his assailant, and she reaches out and seizes him by the private parts, you shall cut off her hand. Show her no pity. Do not have two differing weights in your bag, one heavy, one light. Do not have two differing measures in your house, one large, one small. You must have accurate and honest weights and measures, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. For the Lord your God detests anyone who does these things, anyone who deals dishonestly. Remember that the Amalekites did to you along the way when you came out of Egypt. When you were weary and worn out, they met you on your journey and cut off all who were lagging behind. They had no fear of God. When the Lord your God gives you rest from all the enemies around you in the land He is giving you to possess as an inheritance, you shall blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven. Do not forget. So, dito na tayo sa Mark Mark 14, ano yun guys? Hindi ko kasi alam kung may kukunin ako dyan sa ano. May kukunin ako Mark 14 to what? 1 to 26. March 14, 1 to 26. Religious leaders plot to kill Jesus. So, chapter 14, guys. Now the Passover and the feast of unleavened bread were only 2 days away, and the chief priests and the teachers of the law were looking for some sly way to arrest Jesus and kill him. But not during the feast, the seed of the people may riot. But not during the feast, they said, or the people may riot. Takot rin sila na mag-riot yung mga tao. Pinatay si Jesus. A woman anointed Jesus with perfume. While he was in Bethany, reclining at the table in the home of a man known as Simon the leper, a woman came with a alabaster jar for very expensive perfume, made of pure nard. She broke the jar and poured the perfume on his head. Some of those present were saying indignantly to one another, "Why this waste of perfume? It could have been sold for more than a year's wages, and the money given to the poor." And they rebuked her harshly. Grabing mahal naman, 1 year na wages, guys. "Leave her alone," Jesus said. "Why are you bothering her? She had done a beautiful thing to me. The poor you will always have with you, and you can help them anytime you want. But you will not always have with me. But you will not always have me." She did what she could. Yung mata ko, guys, naglalapo na naman doon. She did what she could. She poured perfume on my body beforehand to prepare for my burial. I tell you the truth. Wherever the gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her. Ayun. Kasama siya sa story. Judas agrees to betray Jesus. Ito nga tinatanong ko sinong Judas? Kasi may kapatid si Jesus na Judas Yung sa unang pagbasa natin. Kaya tinatanong ko kung sinong Judas to. Ilan ba ang Judas sa sinusulat dito sa Bible? Tapos yung character din na Joseph, guys. Si Joseph na anak ni Israel. Tapos sino rin yung Joseph na asawa ni Mama Mary? Pare-pareho ng character's name. Then Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, went to the chief priest to betray Jesus to them. They were delighted to hear this and promised to give him money, so he watched for an opportunity to hand him over. Disciples prepared for the Passover. On the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, when it was customary to sacrifice the Passover lamb, Jesus' disciples asked him, "Where do you want to go and make preparations for you to eat the Passover?" So, he sent two of his disciples, telling them, "Go into the city. A man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him. Say the owner of the house he enters. The teacher asked, "Where is my guest room, where I may eat the Passover with my disciples?" "He will show you a large upper room, furnished and ready. Make preparation for us there." The disciples went into the city and found things just as Jesus had told them. So they prepared the Passover. Jesus and the disciples shared the Last Supper. Verse 17, guys. When evening came, Jesus arrived with 12. While they were reclining. Ay, pahinga muna. Wait lang. Saan yung tissue? Wait lang, guys. Verse 17. When evening came, Jesus arrived with the 12. While they were reclining, the table eating, he said, "I tell you the truth, one of you will betray me, one who is eating with me." They were saddened, and one by one they said to him, "Surely not I." "It is one of the 12, he replied, "one who dips bread into the bowl with me. The Son of Man will go just as it is written about him, but woe to the man who betrays the Son of Man. It would be better for him if he had not been born." While they were eating, Jesus took bread, gave thanks, and broke it, and gave it to his disciples, saying, "Take it, this is my body." Then he took the cup, gave thanks, and offered it to them, and they all drank from it. "This is my blood of the covenant which I poured out for many." He said to them, "I tell you the truth, I will not drink again of the fruit of the vine until that day, when I drink it anew in the kingdom of God." When they had sung a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. So hanggang 26 lang, guys. When they had sung a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. Bye everyone. God bless.